I'm sure everybody has had to give up something for someone, or for an event, or anything really. A decision you had to make would either put strain on several people to help a few, or leave the few in the dust and have everybody continue as if nothing had happened. Maybe you had a choice. You could do something that everybody was a little disinterested in, but one person really loved. Or you could do something that everybody else was excited for, but that one person completely despised it. What would you do? A similar situation presents itself in minor league hockey in Ontario. A recent regulation stated that by the end of 2017, all of Ontario's minor hockey coaches, trainers, and other staff must have completed training modules on accommodating transgender athletes. If uncompleted, they will no longer be registered as a coach of Ontario. The online training module includes the education on transgender athletes, which can take up to 2 hours for an individual to complete. This, on top of the sport-specific modules, can make the process of training a new coach much more difficult and time-consuming. Minor hockey coaches and trainers must comply with a new set of rules, including transgender inclusion, dressing room policy, and negating gender-based discrimination. When teams travel to different arenas, they must be notified of the dressing room policy well in advance to accommodate the transgender individuals, so the situation can be properly handled. This requires a well-organized and managed team. This real-life situation leads us to our knowledge question. To what extent is it reasonable for society to support individual needs? To thoroughly evaluate the factors surrounding an accommodation in society, a simple pro-con list will not suffice. Instead, we have created 4 factors of reasonability for the purpose of answering our question. 2 factors deal with the change or adjustment itself: feasibility, which is how affordable change is, and importance, which is how necessary the change is. The 2 other factors deal with the change itself, which are social consequences and how it affects society, and lastly, morality, which is how obligated we are to take action. One of the 2 things we consider when making a decision is, how much does it cost to act on this decision? Now, I'm not simply talking about the monetary cost, but that is definitely one of the more encompassing factors. A simple example of such would be hiring an applicant from a pool of candidates. This applicant would need to be paid a set salary of X while providing the company with a Y increase in profits, usually in work done. If Y outweighs X, then there is a net gain from hiring this applicant. The applicant with the highest net gain would be the one hired with the company. Now, this is all good and done from a purely consequentialist lens, simply reviewing the cost efficiency of somebody who only requires monetary payment and will provide a net gain. However, what if these applicants require some sort of other compensation for their entry into the company? What if suddenly there were other costs associated with this applicant, other resources besides the salary? Taking this into a broad perspective, decisions have more than just monetary costs associated with it. Although much of it does come down to the money, which is the global currency, we can evaluate this in terms of other resources: time, manpower, diversion of attention, and others. So coming back to this situation, what if this person suddenly needed a new workplace to work in, needed specific equipment to properly do their job, needed training in a specific area to carry out their task effectively and safely? What then? Is it necessary to pay for all the accommodations this person needs? What happens if the cost of supporting this member X is greater than the benefit Y? If we have a net loss from having this member on the team, is it worth hiring this person? What if this person is just as capable, if not more capable than the other applicants, but the accommodations necessary outweigh the benefits? So then begs the question, to what extent can we accommodate these individuals that may have a lesser cost efficiency, but are just as deserving as the others? An example of this that we can see in our everyday lives is the accommodations of special needs students. Those who would require additional school resources to successfully function within their environment. Applying the question from before, to what extent is it reasonable for the education system to accommodate these members? We see this reported by various articles, questioning whether the net benefit from spending on special education is as efficient as if the funds were invested elsewhere. An article from The Atlantic said we are not receiving tangible benefits from the costly special education programs, but are rather awarded for providing well-rounded, high-achieving students.
Created using Powtoon.